The light at Willow Creek. In a quiet town nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, there was a small creek named Willow Creek. The townspeople said the water there shimmered with old secrets, that if you listened closely, it would whisper forgotten stories. Eleanor, a 28-year-old artist, moved to the town after losing her younger brother, James, in a car accident. Grief clung to her like morning fog. She left the city, her old life, and came to the countryside to breathe again. Her new home was a small cottage near Willow Creek, old, creaky, with ivy-covered walls and a warm fireplace that smelled of cedar. Every morning, she walked to the creek with a sketchbook in hand. She didn't draw much. Mostly, she just sat by the water and listened. Her neighbors, kind and quiet folks, didn't ask many questions. They gave her space, knowing she was healing. One evening, as the sun dipped low, casting gold on the water, Eleanor noticed a young man sitting across the creek. He was painting. She hadn't seen him before. He wore a worn leather jacket and had a calm, steady hand. Their eyes met briefly. He smiled. The next day, he was there again. And the next. Eventually, Eleanor gathered the courage to cross the small wooden bridge and say hello. His name was Thomas. He was 32, a traveling painter who stayed where inspiration found him. Willow Creek, he said, had called to him too. They began meeting often, sometimes in silence, sometimes sharing stories about art, life, and the people they'd lost. Eleanor found herself laughing again. Drawing again. Slowly, the sketches in her book took on color. One rainy afternoon, Thomas showed her a painting he'd been working on. It was of her, sitting by the creek, lost in thought, surrounded by willows and fading light. "It's how I first saw you," he said. Like a memory I hadn't remembered yet. Eleanor felt her chest tighten, but not in sadness. It was something softer. Something like hope. Over months, their friendship grew into something more. Eleanor didn't realize when it changed. Perhaps it was the way he always brought her coffee just how she liked it, or the way he never tried to fix her grief, just held it with her. One winter evening, snow blanketed the town. Eleanor and Thomas stood by the frozen creek, wrapped in scarves and mittens. He turned to her, eyes full of quiet certainty. "Stay," she whispered. "I already have," he replied. Years later, people would walk by the old cottage near Willow Creek and see two easels set side by side, colors splashed across canvas, laughter echoing through the willows. And the water still shimmered, carrying with it a story of loss, healing, and the gentle miracle of love found in the quietest of places. The light at Willow Creek. In a small town nestled by the gentle curve of Willow Creek, where the wind carried the scent of blooming lilies and the sunlight danced through weeping willow trees, lived a young woman named Alara. She was the town's librarian, quiet, thoughtful, with eyes like stormy skies and a heart that longed for something more than the pages of the book she spent her days with. Every evening, she would walk to the edge of the creek, just as the sun began to dip below the horizon, lighting the sky with shades of gold and rose. It was her escape, her moment of peace, until one day, she wasn't alone. That evening, sitting on the same bench she always occupied, was a man she had never seen before. He was sketching, his fingers moving gently over paper, his brow furrowed in focus. His name was Aidan, a traveling artist who had come to Willow Creek to find inspiration, he said. And it seemed he had found it. Alara and Aidan began to talk. First about art and books, then about dreams and regrets, and the world outside their quiet lives. Days turned into weeks, and their evening talks grew longer, their silences more meaningful. He would bring her little drawings, and she would lend him books she thought he'd love. They laughed together under the stars and shared stories in the glow of fireflies. One rainy afternoon, Aidan walked into the library, soaked and breathless. In his hand was a painting, a watercolor of Alara by the creek, surrounded by willow trees and golden light. "You're my light," he whispered. "You're what I've been searching for." Tears welled in Alara's eyes. She had spent years feeling like a character in someone else's story, waiting for a plot twist that never came. But here he was, her story, her twist, her heart. But life, like the creek, has its turns. Aidan received an offer to showcase his work in Paris, a dream he had chased since he was a boy. He asked her to come with him, but Alara hesitated. Her roots were deep in Willow Creek, her parents, the library, the town that raised her. They spent one last night together beneath the stars. No promises, no goodbyes, just a quiet understanding that love, in its purest form, never truly leaves. Aidan left at dawn, and the days that followed were hollow. Alara returned to the bench each evening, alone now, though her heart still burned with the warmth of what they had shared. Years passed. Alara never left the town, but her world grew. She started an art section in the library and painted on weekends. Aidan sent postcards, one every month, each with a sketch and a note that always ended the same: "You are still my light." Then, one spring morning, just as the lilies bloomed and the creek whispered to the willows, he returned. This time, he didn't come as a traveler, but as a man who had found what he was looking for. And in the place where their hearts first met, he asked her to marry him. Under the golden sun and swaying willows, she said yes.